So you want to learn how to perform smooth U-turns like this? You found the right video. Yo, what's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today's video will be about how to do a good and smooth U-turn. Easily turning around in a normal street in a safe and controlled manner is an essential skill that every rider should possess. In this video, I'll give you good ways to practice this skill and some pointers to keep in mind. If you like the content that I'm putting out, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. First things first, doing anything in traffic is always more difficult than in an enclosed environment. So, to make things easier to learn, go practice in an empty parking lot. This way you can practice safely, and when you're in traffic later having to perform a U-turn, muscle memory will make things a lot easier. While performing a U-turn, you'll need to combine a couple of things like your vision, counter-leaning, maintaining constant RPMs, using the friction zone of the clutch, and rear brake dragging. All of this might sound like a lot, but with practice it'll become a habit. A very good way to practice is by performing increasingly smaller circles. When doing circles, you can practice a lot of things separately and decrease the radius of the circle as you gain more confidence and skill. Let's talk about vision first. I'm sure you heard about those motorcycle crashes that occurred because of target fixating, right? That's because the bike goes where the eyes lead. So always look at where you want to go, not just at where you're going. This means that in a U-turn, you're almost looking behind you. And in circles, you're constantly doing so. As you can see here, my head is turned a lot to look almost behind me and look at where I want to go. Next up, counter-leaning. By counter-leaning, you make the motorcycle lean more and thus make a tighter turn. As you can see here, if I lean my body into the turn, the bike stays more upright and my turn radius will be bigger. But if I lean outside of the turn, the bike's lean angle increases and the turn radius is decreased because of that. So when performing tight turns, counter-lean. This makes it easier to make tight and controlled turns. And besides this, always make sure that you have a loose and relaxed grip on the handlebars, because this will help you have smoother control. As you can see in this video, my body is leaned into the turn. This means that the turn radius is bigger because the bike is not leaned over as much. When you're taking fast corners, leaning off your bike to reduce lean angle is a good thing, but while performing U-turns and circles, you should do the opposite. You need the motorcycle to be leaned more so that you can make tighter turns. Right here you can see that my body is leaned outside of the turn, so by counter-leaning I'm increasing the lean angle of the bike and reducing the turn radius. As you practice, you can counter-lean more and more to make increasingly smaller circles. Next up, as you can hear, the bike's RPMs stay relatively the same. That's because the bike's speed is controlled by two other things, namely by the clutch control in the friction zone and by dragging the rear brake. The friction zone is used for low speed maneuvers and because you need to make sure that you don't stall the bike and fall into the turn. Release the clutch to add speed and increase the turn radius, and pull in the clutch to decrease the speed and decrease the turn radius. Keep the bike's RPMs up to prevent stalling, and practice good clutch control because having a bad and jerky control will destabilize the bike and increase the chance of tipping over. And besides the clutch, the rear brake is another way to control your speed very well and to add more stability to your turn. When you feel comfortable doing tight circles in both ways, you can do some other exercises. Two of the ones I like to use are the figure 8s and the U-turns from a stop. By doing figure 8, you really practice your vision by having to shift your vision constantly to turn the other way. Changing turns from one side to another is also something that adds to the difficulty. While doing figure 8s, when starting to turn, look at the middle of the turn radius like here, and then, halfway into the turn, shift your vision to where you want to go. Then repeat on the other side. You can make things even more difficult by increasing the acceleration and braking in the straight part of the figure 8 so that you can hone in your braking skills before and during turning. Lastly, performing U-turns from a stop is a good way to practice your confidence because you need to practically let your bike fall into the turn and make it get out by adding some speed. As you can see, the proper way to do this is by first standing still, looking at where you need to go, locking the handlebar in the direction you want to go, adding lean angle and starting to move and getting your feet off the ground. When you get good at those, you'll find that doing U-turns in traffic will become a lot easier. On the street, you'll need to keep an eye on two other important things. Before braking to make the U-turn, always check your mirror to see if there's someone behind you. You don't want to get hit while turning around. And secondly, you'll also need to use a proper lane position to maximize the available space. So, get yourself to the outside edge of the lane and perform the U-turn just as you practiced all those times in the parking lot. Well, there you have it guys. I hope this video helped you to learn how to perform smooth U-turns in no time. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe and leave a like. See you in the next one and ride safe!